Hello and welcome everyone. This is English in the Pocket podcast number 13. I am Tiago Das, your host in this learning adventure. And in this podcast, I interview the South African singer and actress Nduduzo Siba Mckenzie. She came just for a holiday in Brazil, but ended up spending 3 years in jail by mistake. I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, wait a second.
Very good.
There we go.
Very happy to meet you, Ndu. Am I saying your name right?
Wow, me too. Say it's Nduduzo.
Nduduzo.
Yes.
Okay. No, I like it to say it right. Very nice.
But it's always very difficult for people to correctly pronounce my name. I get strange called, like, they call me like Nduduzo, Eduardo, Aduda.
Okay. Yes. In time, you may end up with a Brazilian nickname, I'm sure. But I can,
Yeah,
I
I
can
already
say,
have quite a few.
but I can say Nduduzo, no problem, if that sounds right.
No problem at all.
So thanks for accepting my invitation. I met our common friend Karina, and she told me
Yeah.
very briefly about your stories and how it all happened. But to be honest, like I said in the email, I don't know anything, and I would like you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit what you're up to.
Okay, like I said, my name is Nduduzo Dlamini. I'm from South Africa, and I'm currently living in Brazil for the past 4 years, 8 months now.
Okay.
Um, well, there's quite a lot of things that I'm currently participating in right now, which is I'm an artist. I'm doing the Inutumu Prantu Peluzanju Skaidu, which is a theater piece that is taken from the book of Plinio Marcus. And it's a very interesting piece about human rights and about the justice system of Brazil, basically.
Okay.
And apart from that, I'm currently doing music. I'm pushing a campaign which is called hashtag Nduduzo Thing Voice, which is a campaign that was launched on the 8th of March after receiving news that the Minister of Justice had decreed my expulsion from the country.
Uh-huh. Okay, so that I stop and say, why is that? So you said you're
Yes.
here for,
Okay.
okay.
About in 2013, I came to Brazil, and I was just meant to be here for basically a week. But it just so happened that on my way going back, a friend of mine asked me to do a favor for her, which was carry perfume for her business back home. Of
Okay.
which, as a friend, it was, it was a normal thing. I didn't see anything wrong with it. And when I got to the airport, when the police searched my bag, they found that there was cocaine inside the perfume boxes.
Wow.
And that's how the whole Nduduzo in Brazil came about.
I see.
So I got arrested. I went to PFC where I spent how many years? I spent 2 years, 10 months, and then I was moved to a semi-open prison, which is Bundanda, for another 8, 10 months. And then after that, I got my freedom, which is a conditional freedom. I'm outside. I've been outside from the 17th of March 2017, and I've been trying to reconstruct my life, basically. With
Wow.
that, when I got out, they didn't tell me that I was not allowed to go home immediately. I was not to be deported, nor was I to be expelled at that time to go and try and construct my life with my family back home. But I was asked to stay in Brazil and continue signing until the end of my sentence,
Which
which was
is?
okay. My sentence was 7 years, 10 months, 7 years, 9 months, and 10 days.
Wow.
And I saved 3 years, 6 months of those 7 years.
So then,
So from there, it was Yeah. So from there, when I got out, I realized that, you know what, I am not of this life. You know, committing a crime was something that was never in my plans or ever in my mind that it was something I could end up doing. You know, it wasn't by choice, but circumstances brought me to being where I was. So coming out, I had to now think of a new way to restructure my life and get back the years that I had lost inside. Because for me, it was a loss. Being in a place where you can't study and educate yourself to come out into the society where you can contribute. You are stuck in a hole for God knows how many years with literally nothing to enrich or to rehabilitate you. So for me, that was just a dead 3 years, 6 months. I was dead during that period. I needed to find a life. And I had seen that finding a life with my family was something that was not going to be possible because I still need to be here for this amount of years.
I see. I
Okay,
see.
I can't go back to being a flight attendant, which is something I had went to school and studied to be. I can't continue my studies as well because I can't go to a university in Brazil and say I need to study. I have a process, you know. So I decided, okay, let me focus more on the one thing that has always connected me to myself, which has always been music.
Right.
And that's how my music career came about. I met some of the ladies that we were singing with inside. There was a group formed called Mulheres Livre. Started singing with these ladies. We did presentations in Woospi, Puntanta, EAD. When we did the presentation there were people from the students that had started uh, doing the same course with the professora that was giving us music lessons inside. So basically, we started our journey around the same year. They saw me singing, you know, and they were touched. They were like, you know what? Let us. We would like to invite you to do the Inuchimo Canto because it tells a lot of your story. You know, you need to be part of this. And I was like, you know what? At first, I didn't want to do it, to be honest, because of the shame, because of the guilt, because of the doubts, because of my family as well. Because you know, I'm in this place where the public is free to scrutinize, is free to say or do whatever they feel upon me, simply because I have this passage, I have this stigma of come out of having committed a crime,
Right.
independent that I've paid for the crime, but I'm
Right.
still paying for the crime.
Right.
Every time I have to tell somebody about my process and about going into prison, it's more punishment on me because I don't think that there's a human being out here who is glad to share that experience. It's not an easy experience,
Of course
but I
not.
have to share it. I
Yes.
have to share it because I thought if I don't share it, I've met so many women, Chagi, so many women that have built and contributed to the woman that I am today. And I didn't meet those women in South Africa when I was in varsity. I did not meet those women when I was working and in a hospital environment or when I was working in the airline environment. I met those women in prison.
Right.
These are women who've been there 10 years without seeing their family or their children, without even having the basic contact with the outside world. These are women that decided to, when I came in, I didn't have anything because nobody prepares for prison. So I was just there with my travel bag, and most of the things I had carried for my traveling were not allowed to enter inside the procedure.
Right.
These women took off their bras and panties, took their toothbrushes, and gave to me with an open heart without knowing if there will ever be a chance again for them to get those things. So for me, I met women who, when I couldn't take prison, when I couldn't handle prison, they will come and hold me, even though they knew that their situation was far worse than mine.
Right.
So when the guys from Minuchimo Kanto approached me, I was like, God, as much as I can't do this for myself, I don't want to do this for myself because it's going to hurt. The process is going to be very hard. I need to do this for these women who are still inside who nobody knows anything about, who nobody wants to even know anything about. These women, when they come outside, they don't have documentation, they don't have families, they can't even get a job. Right now, I'm facing a process whereby I'm trying to look for accommodation to rent a place,
Right.
but I can't rent a place because I don't have a bank statement. I don't have a bank account. Now, in order for me to get a bank account, I need to have comprovante de endereço.
Right.
So how does it work for us? How does it work?
If you don't have a
We end up
house in the
living with
first
people.
place and you need to
You
prove
don't
your
have a
address,
house in the place.
it just like
You
so,
understand?
it's just pure madness. So let me catch back a bit because you told us a lot, and is maybe it's the first time the audience of English in the Pocket will be hearing from you, and
Yes, it is.
let me just context everything in, because we've been talking to people who have amazing stories, because basically believe every story is amazing, every human story is amazing and needs to be heard, as you said. And mostly those who cannot be heard because they are shut somewhere where nobody knows about it, and you've experienced this. So let me just ask you, were you coming to Brazil when you came to Brazil back in when was it, 2003 you said?
2013.
2013, sorry. Were you coming just here for a week? You were just kind of touristing in Brazil and you were just traveling around?
Yes, I just came. At that time, 2013, I was 25 years old, Shaggy. I had a man in my life that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. But that man, because of our traditions, because of our customs, it didn't permit us to want to get married and be happy then. The only way there was for us was for me to get pregnant and to kind of force the families to accept it. Of which, for me, that would have been wrong. So I decided, you know what, love, let me just go away for a while. I need to think all of this through. So coming here was just a process for me to find myself, to get the direction. You know, that moment away where you're away from everything. You're away from your language. You're away from your food. You're away from everything that holds you to being something else or somebody else.
I see.
So that process was for me to find myself, and
Just literally take a break.
unfortunately, God had other plans. Yeah, I took a very long break.
You did, and you did, and you said, like, you did say that, and I thought it was very strong. Those 3 years of your life, you were dead, and yet
Yeah.
it seems that I also heard you saying that you also found life. So now you bring death and life together in one place, that you have just yourself and luckily some compassion friends that come and can hold you when you are really on your worst moments. And I say this is a human moment, because somebody who's been in your situation is going through the extreme, but also somebody who's had everything in life and is dying of depression and locked in their room or in their five-star hotel and is about to kill themselves taking pills or whatever, is also in a human extreme moment. and
Yes.
and I feel what I hear mostly what you're saying is like, it is time for us humans to acknowledge that extreme moment and see that's not working, because that's when we most need support, that's when we most need compassion and understanding. But instead, what we give is more hardship, as if like we as a human race, because you put this for the law system in Brazil, but it's like you coming from South Africa, and I believe your life was good there. No, you may have your problems there, of course, but I think you had a good life, and you seem quite well educated.
Yeah. Which was a very big shame when I got to PFC and realized that, you know, there's something that our late president used to say, President Nelson Mandela. He would say, the only way you can get to know how great a country is by going through its prison system and seeing how they treat people under oppression. That's when that statement to me rang true.
A poem by Maya Angelou.
Caged bird. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream to the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful thrill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn-bright lawn, and his name, the sky, his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful thrill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom.
Stay tuned for part 2 of this interview.